our fourth podcast from Sample Seattle.
Right.
Hey,
Sample
I'm
Seattle.
I'm Lee. Over there, you got Taylor, and popping into his seat and getting ready to get all set up. That's our guest coming in, and that's Justin. Justin is Justin Illusion. This guy is a premier rigger, and he's getting into a new forte, and that is he's getting into doing lights. In fact, he does the lights for our show, and on
Yep.
our little sizzle roll, you'll be able to see some of the production that he's done. So why don't we go ahead since we're getting started? And Taylor, why don't you go ahead and introduce Justin, and we'll get started.
Yeah, of course. Justin, we met last time because we were working together along with a bunch of other cool people. And yeah, just tell us a little bit about, what it's like to be somebody who rigs lights. Like, what does that job entail? Where do you do it? How'd you get started?
Well, hello. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, so basically, there's lots of different positions to put a show together, and riggers are kind of my area of work for the last, well, let's see, I started in 2003,
Yeah.
and I've been rigging ever since. Rigging is basically, I'm responsible for everything that is hung from the sky. So all your audio, your video, um, sets, truss, anything you can imagine. Sometimes people, uh, anything that hangs from the sky is pretty much my responsibility. We have to do the weight distribution calculations across the different types of venues that we work in, like the Tacoma Dome or the Gorge Amphitheater, places like that. And to uh, to hang those, what we do is we drop a rope. So let's say the Tacoma Dome, for instance, that's about just under 100 foot drop from the grid where I walk to the ground.
So lots of
And
insurance.
I think, yeah, it's a multi-million dollar insurance for sure, per show. But so basically, I just drop my rope down that I have. I bring a big rope and I drop it down to the floor, and the guys on the ground uh, write down in chalk all the different equations that I need to know so that I know where I'm going and where this point is going that I'm getting ready to pull up. Each thing I pull up is called a point. So
Oh,
I drop my
interesting.
rope down to pull up a point, and they tie it off. What they're tying off is the steel that wraps around the beam I'm walking on, along with the hook and the chain that goes to the motor to the ground. And this chain weighs on a 1 ton motor that we normally use, our average motor, is a 1 pound a foot. So as I pull up a chain, every pull it adds to the weight that I get up to at the 100 foot mark. That's 100 feet of chain plus the hook plus the steel that wraps the beam I'm on. So it gets pretty heavy.
Wow.
I also deal with 2 tons, which is two chains that go up and down through a pulley system. So it's 2 pounds a foot plus a bigger hook plus bigger steel. So it can get quite intense up there. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Put your finger in the chain, hurt.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you
Oh,
don't want to get nothing captured. You're pretty winded by the time you get it to you, and you got to keep it under control and then wrap the beam you're on and connect it and
You know
then
what
let
that
that in.
that makes me
That's the
think
point.
of that. Have you ever seen that video where they're on the boat and the guy throws the anchor over the edge and that chain is like spinning really fast as it goes down?
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
With
makes
the
me think of.
grappling
Anybody who's
hook.
seen that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. My rope for the Tacoma Dome. So I work at a lot of venues regularly. So the Gorge has I bring a 75-foot rope. The Tacoma Dome I would like to bring a 120-foot rope. So each venue
Yeah.
that I work at almost has its own rope, just because you don't want to carry any more than you need to.
No, that
That's
makes
for
sense.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see the Tacoma Dome being like a whole monster of its own.
It is. It is. When I started working there, right now they have a grid in there, a big, huge super grid that hangs from the dome. And the dome is, I think, one of, if not the biggest wooden dome structures we have left in the country.
Wow.
It's at least one of the biggest, if it's not the only one. And the wood they used, as far as I remember, was actually made from Mount St. Helens. All the trees that got fell from the Mount St. Helens explosion, they used to make the Tacoma Dome
I did
part of
not
it.
know that. That's
I
wild.
didn't know that either. That's interesting stuff.
Yeah,
So
I was like, talk about like info dump here. That's cool.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I've been working there. That's where I started. Rigging actually was pretty much the Tacoma Dome. Or actually, that's where I started as a stagehand in 2001, working for Tony Hawk and Offspring, the Boom Boom Huck Jam. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of that, you've worked with a lot of interesting people, right? Like, who's your favorite person that you worked with?
there's a there's there's a I have so many. I have the list is as
Yeah.
big as the passes behind me on the wall. Let
Yeah.
me see if I can shut this door. You can see some. But
Yeah.
all these passes behind me are many of the shows that I've worked, from No Doubt and Blink 182 to Rolling Stones and Aerosmith. And I'd say one of my favorites is always probably going to be Roger Waters and the Wall Tour specifically. I've worked with the Dark Side of the Moon, but the Wall Tour was fun because I was part of the team that had to get the timing right to drop an airplane, a small model airplane that flies from one end of the Tacoma Dome through a wall at a specific point of the song. And so that was a lot of fun. And these huge overgrown puppets that we hung from the sky, that we rigged up there. Yeah, it was just insane to just put these mechanical puppets together that we have to rig,
Wild.
that are run by the rigging that we did. It's like just super size puppetry, or what do you call it? The marionettes. It's like super sized marionettes. It was
Yeah.
really
No,
cool.
okay. So the cool thing about Justin here is like, I thought about having him help me with some of the illusions that I do. You guys didn't know. I mean, I do some bigger illusions that isn't well, I don't know. You think you posted a video about it, didn't you, before? A small clip. Um, if I remember right, before on Sample Seattle.
yep.
Oh, I'll
Yeah.
have to check that
Yeah.
out.
Anyways, that's cool. Yeah, there's some of the illusions there, but I was thinking about having Justin do some of his stuff because he does some really cool like work with like art and stuff, which you'll get into a little bit later. But I just think it's interesting. He's worked with so many stagehand stuff, like it's crazy. Anyways, you
It's
were
definitely part of the reason I became just an illusion, is because
yeah,
I've learned so much about stage magic, basically
yeah.
for so long now. That's just been my world. It's just
Cool.
the magic of the stage.
When you talk about the puppets, it makes me think of like Siegfried and Roy, like some of
Oh
their
yeah.
old work, because they would have these huge like these contraptions that would like come out from the curtains with like people on them and like robots and stuff. And I'm sure it was done very similar. So as what you're talking about, it sounds very similar to that, which is cool. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, you're doing
critical
something.
loads. We call those critical loads in the rigging
Yeah.
industry. We have to do everything 10 to 1 when I hang a person and fly them through the sky, like Miley Cyrus across the Tacoma Dome sky. It
Yeah.
was like these crazy things,
So you're gonna help me fly?
I could.
All right, we're gonna do that.
I can help you fly.
Gonna
I
fly.
I, I
Yes.
definitely have a whole different kind of magic
Right.
that
Gonna
would
be a sight.
we could accent each other well, I believe.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna be fun.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you had this art stuff that you do too.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that
Yeah.
stuff's really cool. You're having a website. Like, tell us a bit about what you do and how you got
So I
into that.
just finished another mural. It's actually a second version of a mural I had previously done on material that just disintegrated way too fast for where we put it. So this guy there's a place in Seattle called Queen Anne. And so on the very top of Queen Anne Hill is this guy's house. And on top of his house is a hot tub and a wall that I put a 12-foot wide mural on. And it's all acrylic, and I spray painted some of it. I hand painted some of it, and you'll see it on the website here soon. Right now you can see the first version. I actually put a little video and I wrote some music that I put together with it. It's called Fine and Dandy. It's on justin.com, JUST-N.com. You can go there and see some of the work. I'm just building that site right now. I haven't officially started my art business, but as I do more and more art, it's pushing me to be more and more of an artist. so
Yeah, there
so
you
now I get
go.
to just
Yeah.
create for life, right? So yeah, so now I do these murals. They're a lot of light based stuff in my murals. They're light reactive. This last one I learned how to program a computer chip. And so I put a computer chip inside the painting that has a whole bunch of fiber optics connected to this. And I put a little light show inside the mural. And then
Yeah.
as I got toward the end of the mural, I just had this thought. Remember those mood rings? Remember mood
Oh
rings that
yes.
they would
Yes,
change
yes.
colors on your fingers? I
Mhm.
Yep.
was really curious about what that chemical was, and after some deep studying and work, I finally figured out how to get the powder into a liquid and get the liquid into a paint and turn it into a paint. So now I have liquid crystal paint. And so the eyes on this girl change through 12 different colors throughout the day, depending on the temperature. And they're
Ooh.
like
Sweet.
brilliant aqua, brilliant blues and greens and reds. And then when it gets too cold, they're just black, and they just disappear like nothing ever happened.
Well, we know
So
what
I
the
can't
mood
wait
is
to show you
then.
that. I
And then
can't
when
wait to
it,
show you that one. You'll see some of the the paint itself is also light reactive, as you'll see in the video that's on my website right now. It's you'll get to see the process of that first painting, and the second one I'll be making a new video for it, because between that one and another, you'll see a dragon on my website that I painted, a big huge 20-foot dragon I stuck on the side of this
yeah.
building downtown, the fun house. It was the side of the fun house in El Corazon, if you know where that bar's at downtown Seattle. It was right there for a good 3 years or so. Um, so I'll have a video of that too. If you were blowing, if somebody was smoking and they blew through the tail, the smoke would come out the nose of the dragon. So
Yeah. You showed me that. And I thought that was really cool. So everybody, yeah, definitely check it out. It's awesome.
yeah, so that's
Yeah.
where I'm going now. Just doing murals. I got a mural in the Philippines coming up to do a big
Yeah.
40-foot wall I designed, and they already okayed. So on Negros Oriental Island in the next couple of years, I'll start getting some more of my artwork out there in the rest of the world. And that one
Oh,
will be
right.
really reactive too to the weather. It'll be cool. I can't wait to show it.
Yeah, it's cool that you get to travel to actually do that too. That you're doing that, doing art specifically because you love that. I mean, I know you get to travel for a lot of other stuff, and you've been many other places. Where's some of the places you've been?
Well, as I mentioned, the Philippines has been where I've been spending actually more my
More
time
time,
lately,
yeah.
because there's so many islands. So every time I go there, I can go explore another island and another island. The first time I went there, I was on Cebu Island, and towards the bottom of Cebu Island is this little place called Argao. And in Argao, I don't know if you can anymore, but for a while you could pay the locals there to take you on a little kayak out into this water, and you can go swim with these big, huge, like 60-foot long whale sharks. And so I did.
That sounds awesome.
I think there's a picture of that. One of the pictures I have on my website there, or at least it will be in the photography section in the near future if it's not there. But yeah, like experiences like that, man, like that is just a different feeling. Like when you have this bus size animal coming at you in the water and it doesn't care about you at all. I didn't feel threatened one time, but they were just so massive. I've never been that close to something so massive in my life.
Wild.
It was intense. I swam with some manta rays in the middle of the night in Hawaii once. And those are 20 feet
Oh,
wide. Some of these things, like, I don't know what it is, but man, I love the water.
You
The water's great.
crazy motherfucker. You crazy.
that's
That's
cool.
what
That's
it
great.
is.
I love this type of stuff. I've done it. I've traveled a bit. I've got to see cool things. I haven't got to swim with manta rays. That is definitely interesting. I'll tell you
That,
that.
that was intense. Where have you traveled to?
Yeah, I've been to like India. I've seen like the
Oh,
Taj
nice.
Mahal. This dude, that you see a photo of it, you think that's good. You've got to go there in person. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
always
things.
like that, right? You got
Yeah.
to be there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like sitting at Machu Picchu going, I can show you all the pictures in the world, but
Yeah. And I've been there
wow.
too. Yeah. I've been
Yeah,
there
Machu
too.
Picchu, that's a cool place, huh?
Yeah, it's really cool. I loved it. I found these bugs. Okay, I was a huge fan of bugs. Okay, I still am. Whatever I'm talking about. When I was younger, but I went when I was a little bit younger. But with my family, we all just went together. It was a really great experience. But I found that they had these thorn bugs. So I actually have them to this day. They're pinned somewhere. Would have been cool to bring
Thorn
them out.
bugs.
Yeah, thorn bugs. They have thorns on their body. You can find them, and they will huddle down against the side of the branch, and it just look like this thorn. You cannot tell the difference until you touch them, and then they stand up.
Oh, wow.
So it was cool, and I have them pinned. So there's like a few of them. We froze them. I've kind of felt bad, honestly, for the bugs. I froze
What do they
them.
call that? Epitomology?
Yeah, or entomology. Yeah, you have to study
Entomology,
bugs.
Entomology.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to use form of taxonomy, kind of in a way, you know what I mean? Because you're pinning them and everything. But yeah. So, anyways, that was something that was really fun. And then I've
Is
been
that what
to
brought you there? Was the insect studying insects? That's what
no,
brought
my
you
my
there?
family wanted to go help this project to put in some like it was like like a hall for it. It's kind of like a um almost like a mission trip type of thing, but they're putting
Huh.
in like a type of building, if that makes
Those can be
sense.
fun. Those can be fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We worked on stuff. I mean, we went beforehand and did a bunch of stuff that was unrelated to doing that as well. And that's when we went and saw Machu Picchu. We were doing this other project somewhere else because my dad's a carpenter, so he's like people would want to hire him to come do stuff in different places, and so he found this deal where he could go travel and we could all go together. Well, he went and did that. He was getting so, anyways, yeah, kind of cool. So basically, we did a few projects like that when I was younger. When I was in India, it was when I was older, it was the school thing. And I actually did magic when I was over there too. This is when I was just starting
Right.
magic.
That's awesome.
Uh, yeah, which is cool. But the thing I think that was interesting about India was
Is when they
just
started to pray at you because you were doing magic.
kind of. Well, yeah,
He's a yogi from America.
yeah, but they didn't need to know what I was saying to like the magic. They went bonkers, you know. And then
That's
it was like a
awesome. I would have
yeah.
loved to see those faces. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it was great. I wish I got like a video of it. I didn't. I just did it for fun. And somebody might have had something back then, but I never got it. But it was really cool. And yeah, and the only other place I've been is Mongolia.
Mongolia. What were you doing there?
Similar thing as with
Yeah.
my parents. Yeah, the only one that I did separately was the other one, which was India. That's the only one I've done separately. A lot of the other places I've visited have been with my parents. Went saw the Great Wall of China.
Ooh, I
Well,
still want to go see that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
you want to know something disappointing about it?
It's smaller than you thought it was.
No, well, there's two things actually. So it depends on where you go. It depends where you go. But if you go into those, they have the big towers, along the wall.
Uh-huh.
So the wall itself is great, but you go into the tower, you got to watch one of the towers. Who knows why? People go there to urinate. And so
Oh
it reeks,
gosh.
dude. It's like you're
Oh,
like,
so each tower's like a little
yeah, you
outhouse.
gotta watch out. Yeah, not all
Oh
of them, but there's
no,
like a couple of them that are
that
like
sucks.
these are the ones you stay away from because they have to walk so far, and then people get over there, and then they're like, I have to go to the
Yeah,
bathroom. They don't want to walk all
yeah.
the ways back, so they
Oh
go sneak a
no,
peek.
so gross.
It is so
And
bad,
and I mean, can you imagine trying to put porta potties along the Great Wall anyway? Who's gonna
right?
go? Who's gonna service those things?
Well, and then this is the thing that's kind of disappointing is like the part of the wall where they have the tourism is like right? But then you look down the way if you go to the right spot, and it's like all that part over there is like overgrown. So there's like
Oh yeah.
trees like sprouting out of the wall.
Sure. I mean, if you saw some of the early pictures of Machu Picchu before they put it all
Oh
back together,
yeah,
it's very
yeah,
similar. It's like, oh, this was just a field, and oh, look, it's like a castle or whatever it is.
right. Did you
I
go
was
up
in
on? Did you go up above it? So you were at Machu
the
Picchu.
Sun Gate.
Yeah, did
Oh
you go up
no,
there?
you mean that little? No, I didn't go to that secondary one. They only
Yeah,
let a
it's
couple
higher.
people. Yeah, they only let a couple people up there a day, like 60
Yeah, I
people
didn't
a
get to go
day or
either, but
something
my
like that.
dad did. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go back just so I can go up there. Actually, it's funny talking about Machu Picchu because when I was actually in Peru to help, kind of like a mission kind of a thing, but zero to do with any kind of religion, just trying to help people. But I remember, sitting there with when I travel because I rig, I always have a chalk bag when I travel. That's kind of like my fanny pack.
Right. Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
is I have a chalk bag and it's everything's tied up. I know that if I'm going to get into an adventure, I know that I can hang upside down and nothing's going to fall out. Right? It's all tied up inside my pouch. Well, the carabiner I used was steel, and here those are about $25 a piece. So there, it would after talking to one of the guys one of the rangers that worked in Machu Picchu, he noticed it and he was pointing at it. And I went out for beers with him later that night, and he was all like, "So it will take me 8 days to pay for one of those." And so
Oh.
so I have an
Wow.
opportunity to take a box of climbing gear back to Machu Picchu to these guys, and he said that they'd take us to some places that nobody's ever seen before. because it's not open to the public because they haven't safely been able to get there yet. And if I could go there and teach them some of the things that I know, because at the time I had just gotten what's called a SPRAT certification. It's a Society of Professional Rope Access Technicians.
Hmm.
So I
Ooh.
rappel off buildings like the Space Needle and stuff like that throughout my rigging career because of it. And so I could go teach them how to rappel safely and do these systems and possibly go see and help discover some new areas. Kind of a exciting
Dude, that's
potential option
insane.
there.
That's awesome, man. You should tell me when you do that. I mean, I want to hear about that. That's gonna
I
be,
will. I will. I'm at the tail end of some major surgeries. I got injured uh, back in 2016 and had to
oh
get
man.
some shoulder rebuilding going on because I was assaulted at the gorge, as a matter of fact. Um, and
Oh,
but then I bought a house
wait,
and
was it from that incident that happened?
yeah, I got assaulted at a show.
Yeah, there was somebody else I know who I think got like majorly hurt from who went there.
There might be a few. I was one of the pretty important people to be on a stage as the number two rigger. I
Yeah.
was just going to go do my job, and dude just decided I was the guy that wasn't listening to him the right way or something. I don't know.
Uh,
It was
I'm
lame, but
sorry.
that took 5 years, and then I bought this house that I'm in right now, and that took 2 years to learn to build. I hadn't really done everything before, so now I know how to plumb and to do all this.
Yeah.
I mean, I turned it into a duplex, so I learned a bunch of stuff. So now I'm just now at this point where I'm ready to start traveling again. I got a mural to go do. I'm ready, man. I'm ready to go do some fun stuff again before I'm too old to do it. 16,000 feet in the Andes is no joke, bro.
Yeah. That's gonna be wild, man. That would make, I mean, you gotta video that.
I can't wait to show you some of the footage. Actually, I took a bunch of footage of my trip up there. I went up there in the Andes to teach this village, excuse me, a little bit about solar power. This shaman called me out of nowhere in America here. He was from Canada. I don't know how he found me. The first thing he said to me is, "Hey, I hear you study a lot of weird shit." I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what that means exactly, but what's going on?" And he said, "Well, there's this village that the government's telling them that they can bring them power, and as well as I do that if the government has anything to do with bringing them power, they're going to want the land that it takes to get there." And that becomes the first part of like this handhold that governments have on these villages that they didn't even know this village, I guess, existed in this area until like 60 years ago. And they speak this language called Quechua, and they're up there living like Flintstones in these rock walls, grass rooftops,
Yeah.
and what I learned was that the elders are the only people that would go into town, into civilization, but they'd come back with these huge amounts of, you know, uh, soda and this food and that food and candy and all these things that they're getting exposed to. When you go up there, it's kind of like a shock to look around and see, you're way up in the mountains and there's garbage all over the place. And I was just like,
Oh,
this sucks. I get it. Anything that they can't burn, they throw on the side of the mountain. They don't want
oh.
garbage, man. Right.
And
So,
you haven't been to India, right?
no, not yet. No.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna tell you, man, that's the one thing that is the thing that is disappointing about India is like the Taj Mahal is great, but if you go, especially if you go into the kind of like the southern tip of India and you're towards like the ocean, maybe like towards the east a little bit, it's just so polluted and people have no
Yeah.
idea.
Uh huh. Yeah.
It's like
It's overwhelmingly polluted.
yeah,
I'm aware. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, to give you an idea, we drove what 8 miles, or no, sorry, 8 hours. Sorry, I don't know why I said miles, but 8 hours. Think about this: you're driving for 8 hours, and there was not a single tree that I saw over that 8 hours. So this like nonstop trees, right, along the side of the road. None of them, were free of trash in the branches of the tree. So like in the trees.
Wow.
So I mean, there were
Jeez.
soda pop rings. There were, it was just mind blowing. The
Yeah.
things that were in these trees, and it was the exact thing you're talking about. You just kids throwing stuff on the
Just
road. I mean,
trash everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah, and they'll just take the chip bag, open it, eat it, and throw it right there. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, yeah. It's like that a lot in southern China and places I've been down there too. It's very just like,
you know what they told me?
crazy.
I this is weird. I just want to say this really quick. This is weird. So I was talking to them and I said, "Hey, can I find a trash can?" And they looked me dead in the eye and they said, "That's American thing. Throw it on the ground."
Yeah, yeah. I've heard statements like that. They actually, I have a friend, she's Chinese and she's in China right now, and we were just talking about that the other day, that she's all like, my village is getting better. But she's from that village where, man, everything just went into the creek. you know,
Yeah,
like just no concept, and still there she tells people, why are you just throwing the garbage on the ground? Don't you care what your area looks like? And their excuse in a lot of these places are, well, we hire people that pick that up in certain areas. Not That's not obviously
yeah, not everywhere.
other places, but just in certain areas, that was their whole reason. Who cares? They need a job. Here's the trash. And that is the way they grow up. It's really bizarre. It's really, really sad. And it's really kind of one of the reasons while I was up there at this village that I was like, I've got to figure out some way that I can use the materials around me, because I don't want to bring things like just solar that these people will never get again. How are they going to get another setup like this? They can't just
Right, yeah.
Right.
but they have all this material around, and I've learned so many different forms of art that, like, give me material, I'll figure something out with it. Just give me something.
Right.
And the first thing I saw was they had plastic bottles everywhere, because the only fire and light that they've ever had is their little fires that they make inside their homes. So
Right.
I'm sure, you go in their homes, you look up, you can see just all black on the grass thatched rooftops, so that's their whole life, is that fire in their hut. And anything that burns in there, I'm sure they learned that you don't burn plastic the hard way. I'm sure of it. So whatever they couldn't burn, they just kind of throw on the side of the mountain. And I had them gather all the cans and all the plastic bottles that they could, and bring them back to the school where I was putting this whole solar system together for them. And excuse me. And so I had them cut the cans open, uh, put water in the big 2-liter soda bottles that were clear, and I showed them how to tie the metal cans kind of in a way that it would hold them from falling through the grass rooftops that they have, and then they could have skylights for their first time. So that was pretty much the first time they got to have natural light inside their house ever.
Wild. That's cool.
So I want to
And
go
you
back
and
and see how they did.
yeah, you want to see, like, how are these skylights, like, like, are you guys
Yeah.
still using them? Did you, like, what's going on? Yeah,
To
that's
see him
cool.
go from laughing, they were all laughing. Who's gonna let this crazy guy take this garbage and stick it in your rooftop? You could see him,
Right.
because I had to speak. I spoke English to the shaman dude that brought me. He spoke English and broken Spanish, so he'd speak Spanish to the local shaman guy there, who would understand broken Spanish and turn it into Quechua. So we'd have
Right.
this, every piece of dialogue had to go through those steps. But to see their laughter go from, you're crazy, you're not putting garbage in my rooftop, to, oh my God, I could put one here and one here and one here. I could put those everywhere, right? Kind of,
Yeah.
they didn't even have to talk. You could tell what they were, you could see the light went on, right?
Yeah, no,
That was a lot of
yeah.
fun. That was an interesting place.
No,
Very
definitely.
interesting place. Yeah, I'm down. If I'll definitely need a crew to go too. It'll need to be a couple people.
Yeah, dude, hit me up, man. I'd totally be down. That's something I'd love to do. And it's that exact thing, being able to share things with people that give them that experience of just like wonder or excitement the first time they've seen something.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
Like,
that. Shock and awe, man.
that would be
shock and awe, right?
that would be so good to get like a video of like going out there and doing like magic for people like that who've never really seen it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Like
It's one of my favorite things about magic, right? It's just,
yeah.
you get that. You take
Yeah.
somebody out of, you give them, what is it when you watch movies, you have to have suspended disbelief, right?
Right.
Right, yeah.
You have,
Exactly.
and to be able to bring that is a lot of fun wherever you go, for however you can. I love that.
Yeah, you just did it through your art in a way, being making the stuff for them. That's cool.
Yeah. The next mural I'm gonna do in the Philippines. It's every time it rains, it's gonna turn this little fan. I pulled a little engine, a little motor out of an old cassette player, and put a fan on it. And so anytime it rains, the rain's gonna drip on this fan and make an electrical signal that'll turn on LEDs throughout the mural.
Ooh,
It's gonna be a lot of fun too.
sci-fi.
Yeah, I like interactive artwork. It's just fun to just people aren't ready for it. They're just not
They're
like,
not.
what just
And
happened? When you
you
see
guys,
my mural and you watch it disappear in front of your eyes, it's wild.
hmm
Like, because it's so colorful and then gone right in front of
right.
your eyes. And it's not video, it's paint and light.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can see the videos on his website of some of this stuff. I mean, it's not the same. You want to see it in person, but like
Well, it's as close as you can get right
it's
there.
close as you're gonna get, yeah, right now. But yeah, no, it's cool stuff,
So
definitely.
I do the next stuff. We got I got a prototype to make for the Seattle Art Museum, and that's what I'll be working on here real soon. It's gonna blow everybody away.
Yeah, there you go. That's quite the journey for sure. Man, we were going somewhere and I got so lost in that rabbit hole.
I
Hey, don't
have I
worry
have
about it.
I
Good
have a
rabbit
million
hole.
rabbit holes.
Good
Yeah, these
rabbit
rabbit
Pick
hole.
one, we'll
holes
go down it.
are going.
Speaking of rabbit holes and not rabbits, but somebody mentioned their love of bugs, but here's a bug we don't love, that old vampire bug.
Oh, yes.
And unfortunately, our buddy Justin was one of the people that got victimized
Firsthand
by those bugs.
experience.
Exactly. So if you could talk about that a little bit, I'd appreciate it, brother. If you could tell him,
Well, I've never had to deal with bed bugs before in my lifetime, but I can tell you they are one of the worst bugs I've ever had to deal with in my lifetime. Um, I woke up one morning and I thought it was just a couple flea bites, and I don't know how many weeks away we are now, but my scars are just starting to go away from the scabbing that happened. I mean, they blistered, they bubbled over and over again. Like they wouldn't just
Right.
pop, so they would blister and then pop and then blister again. It was horrible. It was a nightmare
So maybe they're
for
radioactive bed
like
bugs.
for like I mean like a good 2 weeks. I went through that part, and now just now they're starting to go away.
Yeah, you were saying that like literally you had to cover up your arms and stuff. They're on your like wrists and stuff, right?
Yeah, so I work really high end shows, as you might imagine. I work some of the biggest shows in the world, you might say. And the last thing you want your client to see is a bunch of weird scabs and cuts
Yeah.
all over your arms and
Right?
wrists, while you're sitting there being the only lighting guy for the show.
They're like, "Are you depressed?" No, so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks so bad. And I mean, I don't think you can see them now so much, but there's still visible scarring that's
Yeah.
just still healing slowly.
yeah, and to that fact, because we had a couple of people on our staff, Justin is one of them, who got attacked. I couldn't just literally sit by, so I tried to reach out to Verbo and to Hotels.com and Wyndham to see what they could do about it. And because they basically did lip service, I do what I do. My creative side takes me to making documentaries. So I actually did make about a 12-minute documentary on the problem with bed bugs, where they're at, how you deal with them, what they look like. And we're going to put that URL up on the podcast too, so people who want to can go check out to take a look at it on Facebook, which at this point over 100 and I think 40,000 people have already seen this
I fully
documentary.
encourage everybody to watch it. It's you
Yeah.
need to know this stuff. I've never had it. I've never dealt with them before. I've never heard
Yeah.
of what to do. It was horrible. It's
And it's a
horrible.
good quality one. I've watched it too. Yeah, it was definitely interesting because it piqued my interest after the whole incident. Thankfully, I was saved somehow. My space was fine, but
That's mhm.
yeah, he was definitely not as lucky as me. And then yeah, you said there's some other people who are part of the group that also had the
Yep.
same issue.
Yeah, and got bed bugged, and not just there at the Verbo rental that we had, which was a condo, but also at the Howard Johnson, which is a Wyndham hotel where we put some of the people there too, and it happened there also. So it's not a one-off. I found out through research that the town has been having a problem with bed bugs, not only it, but Wenatchee and also Chelan for about the last decade. The people haven't been talking about it, but they also haven't been doing anything about it. In fact, the hotel where we had the issue with the bed bugs, the first time someone reported a bed bug issue to them through bedbugs.com was way back in 2012. So they've had that issue for over a
Oh,
decade.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
long problem.
It's a long
yeah,
time.
it's
It's
a
like, come
long
on,
time.
dude. You've had
Yeah, you've had over a decade. You're not doing anything about it. You just basically, well, throwing your hands up in the air. And what was it? The statement that really irked me more than any other. One of the people trying to be polite and basically placating from hotels.com said, "We are sorry for your inconvenience." I would like to take someone who thinks one of these bites, which is not a bite, it's basically a vampire bug sucking your blood for up to 10 minutes. I'd like to strap them down and get about 5 or 6 of those bugs, put them on their arms, and let them watch for 10 minutes while those things sit there and suck their
Yeah.
blood away.
Yeah. I want to see that too.
Yes. Just strap
And,
them down.
and
Stop.
then once those bugs run away, release them and let them
Yeah.
explain to me how it was an inconvenience at that
How
point.
is that inconvenient?
Yeah,
Yeah.
an inconvenience, right? So that's why I made the video so people could understand it's not just an inconvenience. It's
Yeah, I mean, if those things bit me on my face, I would have had to cancel my shows.
yeah, you would have.
Yeah, that's
Be-
true. That would have been,
Like I
yeah.
would have lost money.
yeah,
A lot.
Yeah.
again,
You're
because
like, that I
what
need.
yeah, because and inconvenience, no, that's not an inconvenience. And what people don't understand is the anxiety.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't give
Waking up every day.
yeah.
Yeah, man, it was an ordeal. That's what I'm trying to say. It
And
was
Yeah.
it,
an
dry,
ordeal.
it will it's a mental torture. These guys suck your blood and mentally torture because now you're thinking, oh my God, if I close my eyes, they're coming back. If I close my eyes, they're coming back.
Well,
Now, how
yeah,
do you
that her
sleep?
first couple of days of making sure I killed them all off and
See, there you
didn't
go.
bring any
Yeah.
with me and made sure
Yeah.
like before I walk in my house, I gotta walk in my house naked and put all my clothes in a bag. Like, it was an ordeal, man. It was
Right. And
you
when
don't
I
want to
came
bring
home,
that with you.
I have a family and I have children here, so my luggage stayed outside. The only good thing was we had that cold snap, so for a whole week,
They went to
nothing.
sleep.
Yeah, they went to sleep.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the cold snap, after a week of them sleeping, I took everything outside, put it in plastic sacks, brought it in, let my wife wash it, and put it in high heat to clean it.
Boom.
Yeah,
and the
120 degrees will kill
there
those things.
Yeah.
That was the best answer was this. I got a steamer as soon as I got home.
and everybody, if you're traveling in Washington State anywhere, you should have one because that is the only surefire way to kill them. Pesticides will kill up to 50% of them, but it will not affect the eggs, and the eggs will develop a immunity. So after a while, you stop killing 50%, you stop killing 30%, you stop killing 20%, you start only killing 10 to 5%, and the rest just walk away smiling. The only way you can
So
kill them for
messed up.
sure is is heat. And they do have a situation where you can bring in a firm where they can, just like they sack your house when you do the chemicals, they can sack your house for the whole heat. They heat the house up to 140 degrees, kills them all.
Yeah, it's
Eggs,
great.
Yeah, there's
everything.
at least that was the one silver lining, if you will, of the whole incident was to know that they are actually of all the bugs you could deal with, probably the easiest to kill.
It's super easy to kill once you know how. And
Right.
don't depend on
Yeah, once you
pesticides.
know how.
Yeah, yeah.
Key
And
keywords.
exactly. And then there's and I'm always mispronounced this, but it's a type of soil or earth made
Like a
out of
decadent or decent.
yeah,
I forgot what it's called too. Like,
it's basically what it does is it dries out the eggs and it dries out them. You don't have to have a lot of it. It just needs to be a little
you
bit.
you
They
see
want
these
their-
little bags in like beef jerky or
Right.
your new tennis shoes or whatever, and the stuff that they put in those little packets that draws in the moisture. That's what we're talking about. Is that material.
Exactly, because that stuff actually
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew the name. And what I'll do is later on when I put this together, I'll actually write the name on the Chiron.
There you go.
And so everybody knows what the name is. But it has
Good
a
to
90,
know.
It has a 90% kill rate. Outside of heat, that's the next best thing. And yes, I've heard people say Lysol. Yeah, there's all sorts of ways to affect the adults, but you've got to kill those eggs.
Yeah,
Right.
heat or that moisture, because it pulls the moisture out of the air so they can't live. Those are the only
Exactly.
two surefire ways 100% works that I was able to come
Exactly.
across.
Right. And if you happen to be a hotel, there's one way they call it sacking, where they make a sack that goes over the mattress and it seals the mattress completely and you don't disturb it for a year. You leave it on. You put your bedding over the top of it. You do whatever you need to do, but you leave that sack on the bed for a year because they can live up to 6 to 9 months. So a year's time, they will be dried out, dead. Everything will be dead. So then you can take that cover off, clean off your mattress, suck off all the dead bugs, and now you've got a mattress that you can reclaim. But every hotel, places like Leavenworth, places like Wenatchee should actually have these things already. They've got an ongoing problem. It's not something new. It's not something they just discovered. It's ongoing. So they should,
So
for
Lee,
what it costs to be there, they should be able to take care of that.
so Lee, I was tortured by these things for a month. I don't really want to think about it anymore.
I can understand you,
He's
brother.
like, I'm
I know.
done.
What's
I'm
the
done.
chances if we could, I don't know.
Change the
Could you
subject.
show me some magic?
Here, you want to
Yeah,
see
there
something
we
fun?
go.
You
There,
want to
no,
show me
here we
some
go.
magic?
Here's
Show
a
some magic. No, here we go.
little cool mushroom sculpture.
There
Keep
you
your
go.
mind off of it. I'll show you a
There you
magic
go.
trick.
There you
I'll
go.
show you a magic trick, all right?
Thank you, Justin. I know I have your pain, and I'm sorry for your pain, brother.
We're
It's all
just
right.
in
I'm
time.
glad we can share.
Yeah.
That's right. Thing like sharing. Sharing is caring.
So we got a card trick.
We got a
Yeah.
card trick. I'm a tricky guy. What can I say? We'll do something fun here. We'll give a few cuts. The first thing, I don't know if you guys gamble at all.
Only occasionally. With
Only
very small
occasionally.
I
limits.
used to work.
You're not
in
an
places-
addict?
Very
Ah,
small
That's
limits.
no,
good.
I
Good.
used to work in those places, and I know the house always wins, so I don't
Yeah.
gamble.
You don't gamble.
I still do shows in those places.
Right.
I know exactly how much money they're coming in with.
So there you
Right.
go.
Yeah, I'm sure you know it's the first rule. First thing you got to do when you let's say go to a table to gamble.
Oh, you find a hot chick to blow on your dice for you. Oh no, wait.
Yeah. Hey,
You
that's
have
true.
to-
That's true.
Without cards, sorry, cards.
Yeah, you
Cards.
gotta
shuffle the
You gotta
cards, you gotta
shuffle
shuffle the
the cards.
You
And
gotta
for
shuffle
us
them.
married guys, honey, that's him, not us.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, it's true. Yeah, for me, I don't have any limits. You know, I just
But
do
I
whatever I
do,
want.
so I'm not
Yeah.
involved in this, sweetheart. That's those guys.
I can
not
only
me.
give my side. I don't know.
Yeah, I have the freedom. You know, that's a magic life, real magic. No, the thing is, yeah, shuffling is one of the biggest ones. So one of the things that really matters, though, is that you're able to actually see, and I know, especially from where you're at, I want you to be able to see that the cards actually go through each other. So I won't completely let them go through, but you can see them going through each other, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Looks
And
like
then of course you want to the kind of
cut the deck.
yeah, it's
cut
called
it a
box
couple-
cuts. I think they got
oh,
different
box
versions of it.
cuts, huh?
That's one of the names of them, you know, giving you a professional name. Now, one of the important things is you got to find the aces. First thing we'll do is we'll find the aces. I'll find one right about here. See
Nice.
here. And the ability is all about feeling. You have to be able to feel where the ace is at any given time. So there's a second one. Now, a lot of people like that, but the problem is this is just how to cheat at cards. And there's a little bit difference between cheating at cards and Magic, right? Obviously, Magic took it to the next level. So I'll show you something a little more fun. We'll actually get one of the cards to come out of the deck. I had to have it trained, right? So you just, and it shoots out like that. I know. It's a little feisty. It's a little feisty. The problem is that to really get good at this, to really get good at Magic, or to be able to cheat, you need to be able to give up some control. And I think this is kind of true in life in general, is being able to learn how to allow the things around you still play to your needs. And to give you a great example of this, I'm going to change the angle really quick here. And I'm going to have you just go ahead, Justin. You get to say stop anytime you want, okay? I'm just lay cards face up like this, and you can just say stop anytime you like.
All right. Stop.
You really gave me a run for my money. But here's the thing.
Make you work for it.
You made me work for it, right? But yet, you're the one who did this, and I'm not quite sure how, but that is the
Oh
ace.
man, see,
I know.
life is just an illusion.
Just an illusion.
Illusion.
Check
There you
out his
go.
website. And you can check out mine too. Hey, if you'd like to learn some incredible magic like this, you can check out weareteammagic.com. It's www.weareteammagic.com. You can learn incredible magic just like this.
Awesome.
Of course, stay tuned. You want to see our live shows and come to them when we're out traveling.
Exactly,
the
of
best.
course.
Sample Seattle.
That's how we met.
Sample-
It was so much
Sam-
fun to
yep.
watch you work. It was
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
great time.
Yep. And speaking of traveling, and this is, of course, another downer, but this is a downer that necessarily needs to be talked about. That is that horrible plane accident that happened in Nome just here recently.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
we keep up with what's going on in Alaska, and this one hit a little bit closer to home because Taylor's brother actually worked with and knew one of the people that actually demised on that plane wreck.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the people who died, it was actually the pilot who died. His name was Cameron. Was good friends with my brother. You know, my brother worked with him regularly. My brother's actually a bush pilot in Alaska, interestingly enough, in Nome, Alaska. So, yeah, you'd go up every year. You know, I'm sure I've met him before. I'm sure I met Cameron before. I don't know him personally, but it hit my brother pretty hard. One of my you know, longtime friends that I knew from their family was, you know, good friends with Cameron, and yeah, he, you know, passed away from this. As far as I know, I think everybody died that was on that plane, and that just, you know, it's you know, it's a hard thing for people to deal with. Thankfully, they've kind of like put up a GoFundMe for the family, so we'll help the family recover some of the costs of this unexpected death and everything like that. So that will be provided for anybody who wants to help. Thankfully, already got a lot of people who've helped out. It's well on its way.
How long ago was this?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. Is it a month ago? Somewhere
No,
about.
no, that's more like 10 days ago.
Yeah, I don't remember. Let me take a look.
Real recently. That's too bad.
Yeah. It was just 10 days ago, almost 10 days ago. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I know for some reason it seems a little longer, but like,
So many plane accidents lately.
yeah, it's because there's so many plane accidents. There's been a lot that's going on, you know. Just before the turn of the year too, there was one. So yeah, this is different. It really hit close to home, but yeah. So we're just wanting to get the word out there about the GoFundMe page for anybody who's willing to help. And like I said, there isn't that much left. You know, a lot of people have chipped in already, and
Yeah, and those towns are small up there, so I mean that's
everybody
probably a
knows
large
everybody.
part of the I mean, like that's a group of the population up there in some of these places, right?
Yep.
Yeah, as I said, you'll be able to see on our Chiron, we'll be able to give you that information in case you want to help out in some way. As I said, in the lower 48, a lot of people 10 days from now, everything's going on. They've probably forgotten about it. But let's folks not forget about it. Those people up there are our neighbors, they are our friends, and they do need our help and our concern, and more than just our prayers. So if you can help in any way, we're going to put that information up, and please feel free to help those families up there that were touched by this tragedy.
Quick question. You're still recording all right, right?
Yeah.
Everything's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm recording
thing on
too, and he's
The
recording.
thing on my monitor went away that said recording, so I just wanted to check.
No, we're still here. We're still recording. Folks,
No,
yeah,
yeah,
we're
it
still
says
recording.
I don't know
We're
how
still
this. I've
recording.
never been on a podcast. I've only used Zoom once or twice for work, you know. So I just wanted to make sure. I don't know how all this.
That's fair. Rather safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, exactly. We played that game already earlier today.
Yeah,
so,
you're
yeah.
like, yeah, that was fun.
That's fun. So yeah, anyone who wants to that, we'll have it up on our Chiron. So you basically will have a chance to see that information. And also, we're basically going to be having other people who are part of this new family we put together coming on the show to do some introductions. And the biggest thing coming up on our next, if we can get it all squared away, is some of our horn section. The
Yeah, they're
guys
so
and
good.
all these guys are just phenomenal.
Or you need to insert like somewhere right around here, like that clip. I'll send you the clip, but just like of
Yeah.
them playing, like it's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta have. We're gonna have lots of footage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
So
think I gave you like 20 gigs or something.
as I said, we're going to put a little sizzle roll together that'll be part of the podcast. So you'll see the sizzle roll, and then that'll be up on its own. So if you want to look at it, you can. We'll be sending out to prospective places that we're going to look to try to get their venues and stuff to go into Alaska because we're, pardon me, trying to put the Alaska show together for Alaskans, which means we're not talking about going to Alaska until the end of September, the onset of October of this coming year. And the idea is when we go up to stay up for 2.5, 3 weeks to hit places like Anchorage, to hit Fairbanks, to hit Juneau, try to do a show in places like Nome and maybe another small town like that. So we'll have like some travel days, we'll have some show days, we'll be taking footage of everything. And when we come, we don't just come with our band in that great horn section we're talking about. We come with the light show that Justin is going to be providing
Right.
and his light genius. That's part of the whole thing. You'll see some of that in our sizzle roll. And of course, our host there, Taylor, the American Mystifier, will be bringing his magic. So yeah, we'll be bringing the whole show. And then what you'll actually be able to see for the first time is Taylor and I will be on stage together, and we'll be doing some comedy, and I'll do some
Yep.
of my voices and some of the other things like that to put the whole show together. But for right now, all of this stuff is just going to be our podcast, and we're happy to have Justin. You're going to be seeing more of Justin. This is not a one-off for Justin. You're going to be seeing
Yeah.
a lot. You're going to be seeing a lot of Justin. Justin is going to be like the third guy you see when you
Got
see
lots of
us.
hats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
This man.
Yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of Justin. Even when you've seen the musicians, you'll still be seeing Justin because Justin's is critical to the show concept. Most people think when you say show, you're talking about just putting some magicians on stage, maybe with their girls with the tights and the
This is a
saws
production.
and the whole thing. And then of course, oh, you're gonna throw some guys that are
Calling me
that
out.
are yeah, yeah, I mean you're gonna throw
Yeah.
some you're gonna throw some guys in there doing music. Oh, musicians too. Oh, that sounds great. So you got magic and musicians. All right, well, folks, you have to have something to tie all of that together. And psychologically speaking, your brain is keyed towards certain types of patterns and lights. Whether you
Absolutely.
know it or not, you are. And we got Kid Genius here who has spent most of his life figuring out how those lights affect you and how to put them together in the most pleasing manner. And it's not like he's had just 5 minutes of experience. He's ongoing in his learning and experience. And we're so happy to have him as part of our show.
Look at his wall.
Really
That
cool.
shows
Exactly.
you right there.
Look at that wall.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
my
look.
my very, very, very first rig was for Metallica. So once I
Think about
started
that.
rigging for them,
There you
it was
go.
a 100-foot grid that I had to climb up into, and I just sat at one point. I hung there from my sitting harness for 2 hours with the tour manager, just swinging, waiting for the crane to get into the building so that we could do our job. And yeah, it got me into a really cool part of the world. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I never once in my life even thought about what a rigger was.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Never even thought it. And well, I didn't even know that I could know. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know to
Yeah.
know. There was nothing about this in any school I ever saw or studied or books I read. There's the lighting guys, the audio guys, the video guys, but riggers?
Yeah,
What's
Yeah.
that?
exactly.
You know,
The whole thing on its own. It's unique and different in its own way.
it is.
Well,
It is.
it's the
Mm.
roadie of the sky. When I was a kid, I was a big kid, was never a small kid. So at 14 or 15 years old in Kansas City, I could actually go pick up work. And picking up work means hanging outside of the stadiums to see if they needed some extra hands to unload stuff and to haul
Right.
stuff on
Oh
stage
man. Hey,
and
I
bring
started as a
cables.
stagehand too. You know,
There you go.
that's where everybody starts.
There
You
you
know,
go.
pushing boxes. Fill the
Exactly.
truck, dump the truck.
That's
Fill the
it.
Right.
truck, dump the
On the
truck.
truck. Yep. Hey kid, you look like you could do some work. You ever done this before? Oh no, sir, I've never done this before. You want to make a little extra money? You paying me? Yeah, you
Just
can
run
walk.
8 miles of this horse cart all the way
Yeah.
down to the stage and back.
Yep.
That's
And
for the layman. That's 2/0 or 4/0 cable, which is about
exactly.
Yeah.
this big, and
Mm-hmm.
there's what green, white, red, blue, black for all the
Exact-
different colors that you use for
Exactly.
3-phase, like 400 amp 400 amp circuits that we use.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep. Kids stack them speakers because that was back in the 70s. I'm an old guy. So when I say, because guys
The
don't
wall of sound.
that's back in the days when you had a Marshall stack. You didn't have, like in my kid, I have a Marshall half rack. Okay, great. But back in the day, the guy would have 4 or 5 cabinets with a brain sitting on top of all of that
You know what's
shit.
funny is we still do that, except that we hollow everything out because we're using all the sound in the line arrays that are hanging from the sky.
Okay,
Ah,
see, but you still have the look. But you still have the look. I remember, kid, you better
Spoiler
make sure.
alert!
Yeah,
Spoiler
spoiler
alert!
alert.
Sorry about that. Little
Make sure
inside
that's
information, you guys. But it
and
still
believe me,
happens
and why don't those stacks fall? Ask
because
yourself.
they're empty and they're
Yeah.
just together.
But back in the day, they didn't fall and they weren't empty.
No,
Back in the
yeah,
day,
yeah. Back in the day, it was
yeah,
straps everywhere.
exactly.
and-
That was the secret. Straps. Those things were all strapped together.
yeah,
And so if the one fell, they all fell.
right. Yeah.
As we rig, we always have to look at history because we're always rigging different things. And it was interesting to watch the history of how line arrays became a thing after Woodstock, because not too long after Woodstock, they realized, well, we can only put so much audio to so many people from the ground.
Exactly.
Now we got to learn how to hang it from the sky.
And that's when you started seeing speakers suspended. Oh boy. But in fact, one of your favorite spots that you've talked about is one of my favorite spots too, and you don't have to do all of that nonsense. And that's Red Rocks.
Yeah, I love the Red Rocks. That is a great place. I went there. The last time I was through there, I was on tour with John Mayer, and man, I just did nothing but explore that whole area. There's this cool little hole in the back upstage left that you can walk through if you're allowed on the stage.
I can say if you're
If you're allowed, yeah.
yeah,
You're
exactly.
like, but I got the back
yeah,
seat.
hey,
pass.
hey, Justin told me I should.
This
You
man.
you got a bad
Well,
son.
Well, anyway,
No.
you can crawl through this little hole, and there's a little crevice. And if you look straight down, it's like a 20-foot drop, and you can see where people are parking their cars underneath this area or something. It was really weird. But if you spider across the crack, you can get into this little area where I can only assume it's where they made like a makeshift green room that you could just crawl into, because they made a wall out of, some of the red rock bricks to
Mhm.
make a nice little cubby right behind the stage. And unless you crawl through the little hole, you have to crawl over the guardrail and then crawl through the hole to get there.
Right.
It's just a cool little secret I found.
Like I said, the backstage info you get because you talk to the right folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just explore, so just run into things. I was longboarding through. Isn't Cheers in Boston? Is that where that
Yep.
one's at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
so I
where the
was just
set is at.
longboarding around town on that same tour, and I didn't know
Ooh.
that's where Cheers was, but boom, I just ran across Cheers. Yeah.
And if you go to Boulder, Colorado, and you go down on the Walk Mall there, and you want to see Mork and Mindy, that's where the Mork and Mindy house is at.
Oh yeah, Mark and Mindy.
Yep, in
Man,
Boulder.
I miss Robin Williams. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Tragic, but as I tell people all the time, as being a funny person, oh, there's 2 types of funny. There's a guy who went and trained to do it, like somebody like I don't know, Johnny Carson or someone like that. And then there's the other type of funny, the real funny, the funny that happens because life just was either so awful to you
Yeah.
or so messed up you had to figure out how to deal with it. And that's Robin Williams, that's Richard Pryor, that's Eddie
Or
Murphy.
it was really good drugs
Yeah,
at a
exactly.
really good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are just the comedians I kick it with. I don't know.
And so again,
That's why you kick it with good comedians. Yeah.
yeah. Hardship makes
I don't kick it
hardship
with
makes
any,
it-
so you know.
Hardship makes funny. I
I
tell
don't have
people
a lot
all
of
the
fun.
time, hardship makes funny. And if you want somebody to be funny, people, Lee, why are you so humorous? If you know my life, my real life,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes all you can do is laugh.
laugh,
Right.
exactly. And I start talking about it. What? I said, why do you think it's funny? Oh my God, I don't want you crying. So I
Because
gotta
none of
tell
us
you,
get out alive, man. You better
No.
just love it, because it
Yeah.
can always be worse.
perfect people. I pray to them every day. I'm happy for them, but that's not my life. My life is not a perfect people life. My life.
Hey,
is one
well,
of
what
those
kind of
tragic
character did it give us, though?
lives.
Right?
It gave us
Right.
a resilience, elasticity, because that's the big thing. Elasticity, to be
Oh, yeah.
able to be flexible to fall down, get back up, and not break like an egg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Humpty Dumpty ain't my name, and Humpty Dumpty ain't my game. I may fall off that wall, but I'll be able to put all the pieces back together again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get right up on that horse in a minute. You bet.
Exactly. What can a horse do for me? Well, let's see. It can plow my fields, pull my cart,
Right.
and in general, provide me with some manure
He's
so
out.
I can
If
grow
I
my
can't ride it,
food.
it's gonna be a slave for life.
Yeah, actually, this horse is.
Everything. No, I'm not riding it. I'm using it
I
every
know,
other
I'm
way. Every other way. Coming because
Did that horse volunteer for it? Just kidding.
well, my horse
Horse rights.
are
Horses with consent.
Yeah, horses with consent.
we have some very beautiful horses here in Washington State, and they're draft horses. And
man.
unfortunately, they go to Japan as food.
Thank God they aren't ugly.
No, they're beautiful.
one of my first tour was with a tour with horses, and man, they had some of them. This tour was called Cavalia. Did you guys ever?
Oh
watch
yes, I've heard of
Cavalia?
Cavalia. Yeah.
I actually
We
hadn't
had-
seen it.
We had 40 horses on tour with us, and this was at the
Oh,
time it was
wow.
the biggest big top tour.
Well, you guys had not just horses;
world.
you guys had stallions.
Hey.
You had
Well,
40
there was-
stallions.
There was different horses from like different groups of horses would
Right.
do different kinds of tricks with different trainers from Spain, from Italy, from
Yeah.
Oh.
different places in the world. So it was actually little groups of horses around the world that all had their specialty dances or tricks, or it was amazing. And to watch these trainers like during the show, if you have not seen Cavalia, you've got to see it. It's one of the most
Right.
beautiful shows I've ever been a part of. It was amazing. And they would play with the horses kind of like you would play with a group of dogs. Like just play, and that was the stage. They ran away, and then we had some cool aerial acts and some circuitry, circuitry, some
Yeah,
circus
circuitry.
acts.
Oh, now
Back to
they're
lighting
they're
again.
electrician horses.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess
And
what I
I
was
lit them
doing?
all up with lights. Yeah.
No,
I was the
Jesus.
lighting crew director.
Yeah. You train these
So-
horses right, right?
But that was one of those. That's when I really fell in love. I think with horses was because of that tour. I loved horses before, but to realize how personable they could be if you
Yeah.
you were around them long enough, it was really cool. That was a lot of fun. Horses are awesome. Anyway.
Yeah,
that's
horses are great. No, they actually are, and I like horses. I used to ride horses, but I'm getting older now, and I don't
You're
want
like-
and I don't want to have my ass fall off of a horse the hard way and break something. So I'll
For
get in a buck.
sure.
I'll get in a buckboard. Just ride behind them. You can see me now.
Come on, Lee. Give it another
Yeah,
shot.
Ooh, I'll get that buckboard. Yeah, there you go. He's all harnessed up. I got my handbrake here and my foot brake, and I can grab on the reins. And since I'm not a weak guy, when I grab on the reins, I grab on the reins. Horse goes, "What?" Yes, that's right, buddy. What is right?
The
Yeah.
first time I went riding horses was bareback, and
Ouch.
Oh my
it
God.
did it
First
did the,
time.
Ouch.
No, it was fine. That riding it was fine, and you're holding on to the mane. You don't have you're controlling the horse with your feet,
Yeah.
and so you're holding on to the mane, which you feel bad because you really have to grip it.
Yeah.
You're like, you just have to really grip that hair, and they don't feel it. Apparently, is what they told me. So
Yeah,
I
sure
held
they
on.
told you. Sure they told you that.
But I held on, and I'll tell you, I didn't know how to control it very well. And we came up to this pond, and if it was on film, it was the most like cliche comical horse riding ending incident where I just went head over, just straight across the horse into the pond myself, and the horse just stopped. It's just all like, boop, you're off into the pond, and that was my first horse ride.
Well, did the horse drink the water or just walk away?
No, I didn't know that there was a pond there. So we're galloping,
Oh, okay.
and all of a
Oh.
sudden it stopped, and I went
yeah.
flying into the pond.
Yeah, the horse knew. Okay.
So, yeah, the horse knew. I didn't know what was going on.
He was in on it.
Yeah,
and it
he
just
was.
stopped. It was just like boom.
It was a setup. I'm gonna get this.
Oh
mold.
man, and the girl I was trying to impress that
Oh,
owned the
that
horse.
horse-
Man, I'm sure she's
Oh.
laughing to this day.
That horse like,
That's funny.
oh, so you think you're gonna get laid, huh? You think you're
No.
gonna cowboy?
No,
on
no,
me?
no.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was way younger than that. It was
Oh,
even that.
okay.
I was
Oh, it
hoping
wasn't
to
even
get
that.
maybe I'd get another love letter, you know.
Oh, summer
I
camp
was-
flirt.
yeah.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Hi, Sarah, if you're watching. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Who she may be, you never know.
You never know,
You
right?
never know.
That's funny.
Well, at least he was honest about it. He was a gentleman. So there you go. He's
Yeah, yeah.
good type of guy there. Good type of guy.
Just horsing around.
Just horsing around, yeah. Until he went into the pond head first.
Yeah. Hey, you learned how to swim real quick.
I was a good swimmer. It was all right.
Yeah, exactly. Nor did the horse care. Of course,
Yeah.
he didn't go, well, I hope he can swim. The horse just said, fuck it, he's off my back.
Yeah, throws him in.
Oh, the
Oh,
horse
man.
just didn't want to go that way. It didn't care one way or the other. It was just like, nope. You're on your own. I am not swimming today, sucker.
And so what do they say about how stupid horses are? Apparently not so stupid, right?
Right.
Apparently
I
pretty
don't know.
bright.
I don't know.
Apparently pretty
They're-
bright.
They're up there with the dogs for sure.
Well, there are some bright dogs and there are some not bright dogs. Do you know how you know
And
if you
that's
got a
the
bright
same with
dog or not?
horses.
You know how you
Wait,
know if
wait,
you got a
wait.
bright dog?
Oh.
Okay, this is how you know if you got a bright dog. This is the same thing with a not so bright child. You go over to the dog and you throw a blanket on top of the dog. If the dog stays under the blanket and can't figure out what's going on, you don't have a bright dog. If you have that on a bright dog will toss that right off. What the heck are you doing to me, buddy? I want to see. And a beagle and a basset hound, those two guys right there, you could throw that blanket on and they'll live there forever.
Heyo.
Until you pull it away. Oh my God, there's light. Oh, not my dogs. You try to put that on my dogs will shake that right off real quick. What this? You call this funny? No, that's a bright dog.
We're discovering how Lee picks his dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes to the dog place, throws a blanket on every dog, and watches something.
That's a keeper.
Exactly.
Get rid of that one. That's a keeper.
Right.
Get
Watch
rid of
out!
it.
If I go with you, they're gonna disappear after you throw the blanket on us.
And then, of course, the next question is, now how big
And now
will
it's
this
a
dog
horse.
be?
Yeah, now it's a horse. Watch out, Justin.
Right. And you know the next criteria, the dog's got to be over 100 pounds when it's full grown. If it ain't over 100 pounds, it's not a dog for me.
So it's already a horse.
Yeah, I have horses. I've got
Not teasing.
100. Well, you've seen my mini horse, my German
Yeah. Oh,
Mastiff.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
He's about
Well-
he's about 175, 180. And then my baby, my Black Russian Terrier, she's about 95 now. She'll be about 115 when she's full grown.
Yep.
And she's the baby.
Mm-hmm.
I like dogs that when I reach over, I touch the head and I don't have to squat down. And my father used to
Yeah,
say,
you're a little tall, so you know, that makes sense.
So I need a dog.
You
that
need
fits me.
proportional.
Exactly.
A proportion to dog.
Exactly. So that's why I have a proportional dog. He's proportionally huge, but he works for me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's great at the door because I never have to worry about anybody coming in my house that doesn't want to. Well, first off, they got to want to come to the house because you've got to get past him and the other dog.
Yeah.
And
That-
then,
Yeah, the one dog is great at slobbery too.
Oh, yes, a big boy. He's a slobber monster. He'll love you
Yeah.
to death. But
Yeah, he'll love you to death.
and he'll
I'm like-
drown you in your sleep too.
Yeah,
so you gotta
exactly.
watch out.
Yeah, my thing is-
Exactly.
My thing is,
Exactly.
somebody comes in to rob, and then they get, and then they're like, "Oh no!" Run
Yeah,
away.
ew. I was slimed. It's like Nickelodeon.
Exactly. And before they can run away, the female dog, it will be biting them in the butt because that's what she's designed for. She's designed to
Right
nip
in the
it.
butt.
Yeah, she's designed to nip and release because she's that Black Russian Terrier, that dog that was designed from 17 different breeds that the Russians took back in the 1940s for the 40s through the early 1960s, through all the East Bloc countries. 17 different dogs. You name the breed, they put it into this dog. They call it a terrier, and what my dog looks like, when she looks like a poodle on steroids. That's the best way to describe it. He looks like a poodle on steroids. She's got the same kind of cut, but she's built. We had to put a cone on her because she had to have her surgery. You know how dogs are with cones.
Oh yeah,
Okay, not my dog.
Funny
He-
looking.
Yeah,
it's true.
she broke the cone. The cone was almost shattered because she would literally run into stuff and wouldn't care. She kept doing that
Yeah,
until she
not a
cracked
lot
the
of-
cone. She
Not a lot of
She
spatial
doesn't care.
awareness.
Just
No, she didn't care because she'll run into. She's knocked doors off hinges. She's like a little tank, And they made these dogs, the male versions get up to about 150, 160 pounds, and they can pull ammunition carts in the winter in Siberia.
Nice. I grew up with Japanese Akitas for a little while.
There you go. There's another dog like that.
Yeah.
I had a Akita when I was a kid living in Okinawa. There you go.
We just had a Russian bear dog. It's kind of cool.
And that's a dog that I really want to get, but you have to have special license to have those dogs.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore. It's my parents, and our
No,
dog, but
exactly. But you have to have special license. You have to be, you have to have a
Wow.
rating and a special license because these are not your normal dogs. These dogs are very much have to be someone has to be in total control. If
They're
not,
like
you got a
wolves,
problem.
huh?
No, they're worse than wolves. They basically, again, you can't have these dogs if you know what you're doing. You can have them around your family. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can't have these dogs at all. And if you don't know what you're doing,
I've heard the stories because
Yeah.
they're in a constant competition, and so even your kids
exactly,
they're afraid your kids are going to take their place
and exactly.
in the hierarchy. I
they're
remember
key.
reading about it. It was intense.
Yeah,
It
and
was
so
like, wow.
I would love again. I'll never have them because by the time I could have them, my kids would be at an age that I could have them. I'd already be in my 80s, and it'd be too. You need to have vitality to have these dogs. You kids can't be an old man and have these dogs and think they're just going to listen to you because they're your dogs. That's
Man,
not
I
how
wish I
these
had
guys
dogs.
run. That's not how these
I
guys
miss
run.
having dogs. I really wish I had the
Well,
time.
as soon as you get settled down, get your life more sedentary, like I have a sedentary life, family, dogs, kids, house. I go out. I go out. Once a week when I have a chance to go listen to my favorite guys, the guys that I've known for like 15 or 20 years
you
playing,
gonna
like
come?
Joe Dory.
You gonna come back into town on Tuesday?
Oh, not this Tuesday because I'm going to be working on the film stuff like that. But after this next week, once I get this done, get the podcast up, get some paperwork done because it's going to be tax season, a bunch of other stuff. Then it's back to the old schedule where you'll find me on Tuesday nights about 9 o'clock to about 1, listening to Joe Dory or who that's ever playing with Joe Dory.
At the Sea Monster.
The Sea Monster because
Yeah.
that's
Great
I
movie.
feel at home. I'm in my element. There's a lot of people that I've known for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years.
You ever go there, Taylor?
I haven't been there. No, I don't think so.
No, we have to get you over
You'll
there.
have to. Yeah, you have to come.
Yeah,
join
just
us.
let me know. I'll
We'll,
come
like,
join.
make a-
Yeah.
make
And
a-
Like I said, I'm come up a lot on the weekends. Usually I don't know when you're.
I'm usually there on a Tuesday.
I normally during the
Oh, you're on
summer-
Tuesdays. Okay.
During
Yeah.
the summer months, Sundays at 1 p.m., you can almost always meet me down at my boat.
Oh,
That's where he'll be.
okay. Yeah, I could
I
definitely
don't
do
think
that
we
on Sundays.
talked about that this time.
Yeah,
but
exactly. But we should talk
Yeah.
about that because we're going to try to do something on the boat where we do.
Yeah, that would be. It's gonna be
podcast
cool.
on the boat. Maybe bring a few people so you can do your magic on the boat, and we can have the
Yeah,
the
get some cool
background.
angles. It's like it's
my
like water coming
partner
by.
on the boat and his wife would love it. His wife's from the
Yeah.
Philippines, and
So no, great. And then,
Awesome.
like I said, have some folks there sit in on what we do. What we do, we just carry on conversation. Have some folks watch us carry on the conversation. Talk about what
It's
we
a-
talk about.
it's a 1930 40-foot wood yacht built in South Lake Union,
And what's it called?
Yeah.
What's its name?
and it's called the Rum Runner.
See, there you go.
Rum runner.
Just like out of a
And
Burt
I
Reynolds
brought
movies.
my own rum from the Philippines that you can,
There
when
you
I bring
go.
you there. if you like.
There you go.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. You've convinced me.
I knew it. I knew I'd find a hook somewhere.
There you go.
No, I was definitely going to go
No,
anyway.
just
but
wait for the
just-
wait for warmer weather. I can just imagine how great it'll be to have because I mean, as you mentioned to me before, Justin, how many people are doing a podcast on the water?
Yeah, much less a classic
Right.
yacht
Yeah.
built here in Seattle.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this
By the
is gonna be
Schertzer-
legendary.
It's a Schertzer Brothers, by the way. If anybody
Say that.
wants
Say it one more
to-
time for those that are building people. Say it again, please.
It was built by the Schertzer Brothers.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
there you go. Mhm.
So they were a boathouse there in Lake Union. They're gone now, of course, but they were close over by Gasworks. And so during the summer, most of the time you can find me on Sundays just floating in the middle of Lake Union, looking at the city and watching the parking lot of I-5 sit there and just drinking beer and enjoying it.
There you
Living the
go.
life, living the
The
dream.
beer's gone, so are we.
He says, "Beer's gone, I'm gone." But there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Mercenary, mercenary pirates. When the beer's gone, so are we.
There we go. Some more beer. I'm just kidding.
To go get more beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some weekends.
Yeah.
So yeah, like this has been a lot of fun. We
Oh
can't
yeah.
do this, every week because all of our schedules, we're busy people. But we're gonna
Yeah.
try to do this like every, at least twice a month or so, or something special comes up. And the next time we do the show, which will be show 5, we're gonna at least have one or two or more of the horn guys. So I don't know where we're gonna do it. Maybe you'll just see, like, instead of 3 shots that we have now, you'll see 5 or 6 shots, and you get to see
We'll be like the Brady Bunch. Here's a
exactly the
Yes.
Brady Bunch, exactly.
Welcome.
And instead of the Sample Seattle bunch instead of the Brady bunch. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna have a few more people come on. As I said, get used to seeing Justin. He's gonna become a regular on the show too. So for most parts, it'll be the 3 of us doing, talking about stuff. World events. Sometimes it won't be music. Sometimes we'll be talking about what's on our mind. Sometimes, like today, we'll cover that bug thing real quick and talked about that. And we'll talk about it more because of how disturbing it was. And we did something serious. We discussed about the serious incident that happened 10 days ago up in Nome, and give our condolences and our thoughts and wishes. More than prayers, we want to be able, as I said, on our Chiron, you'll be able to see when this goes up a way to reach out, if you'd like to reach out to that GoFundMe page, so you can involve yourself and help if that's what you feel that you want to do. I come from a world where we're never going to make it on our own. I don't know who you are or who you think you are, but look around. You didn't get where you're at by yourself. If you did, you're delusional. It takes a village, it takes a group, it takes friends, it takes people, it takes all of us to get together to do something good, not just one person. And let's not forget that.
Yeah, it's true. Definitely
It takes a
true.
village.
Mhm.
That's why we're here together.
There you go. That's our village. Here you go. And it's
Right
growing.
here.
And it's growing.
And
And
you
it's
guys
growing.
watching this
The tribe
are
is
part of our
growing.
village too. Don't forget that.
Exactly. We're
Yeah.
doing this to bring it to you. Some of you people, right now, we're still just doing the visuals, but I promise you that I've got all 4 shows, including this one coming up, that I will eventually put out just for you people who are on the road listening on podcast, not visual podcast, but I do have sample cast. So the stuff will be going out on
Yeah.
sample cast soon. So you'll be able to be on the road and listen to, up till now, this is our 4th show, and you'll be able to get our 5th show and our 6th show and our 7th show as we
Yeah.
keep doing this, because there's stuff to talk about. There's music, there's Seattle, there's people for you to meet, there's members of the band for you to meet, there's stories for you to hear. You've only touched the tip of the story of Justin. Oh my God, just the very tip of his
Yeah,
story.
so much.
There's just
So
so
much.
much more
So
to
many rabbit
Justin.
holes.
Yeah,
And
to go down.
and not just that. I mean, you know, you guys can be a part of it too. Like, leave some comments in the YouTube videos. Tell us what you liked. Just let us know what you're interested in,
But
so we
don't
can add
troll
that
us.
stuff in. Yeah, don't troll us. Don't be. Yeah, but
Yeah. Because we got a place for you under the bridge in Fremont for you trolls. If we see you
be under
bored.
the bridge to Fremont. Yep.
But
Yeah,
tell us what you think. for
yeah,
sure.
but tell us what you think.
Yeah.
We can do
We
stuff to make you feel better, to give you more insight. Tell us, but don't just be, oh, I had a bad day, so I'm going to take it out on these guys and just talk crap. You don't
Yeah, no,
want
but what I'm
that.
saying is they can give us, different ideas and
Yeah,
stuff of stuff they
exactly.
liked. Tell us about what you
Exactly.
liked in the show, where what would you like to see next time? Is there any questions you want us to specifically ask the people who come on here? Like, hey,
But I
Exactly.
anything
am
you
There
want
you
to
go.
really
know?
good with
Let us
constructive
know.
criticism.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Yeah.
You said nobody has a problem.
Give it, because
Yeah.
I'm all down to get better.
Yeah, you're like,
Exactly.
that's
All
right.
of
Give
us
me
are.
constructive. Yeah, constructive. Yeah, get on our team, right? Help us. You're
Yeah.
you're on our team. So
But if your name is Karen, get on our team. Don't talk about our team, Karen.
yeah, no,
Don't.
I don't know if we want Karens on our team.
Well, there's probably somebody out there named Karen who's probably a very good person
Can you
who
be
hates the
Karen-esque?
fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not a real Karen though.
Karen.
They're the
But
good Karens.
they just got named that, and now they're stuck with that title.
Yeah, they're stuck with that title. Like,
Yeah.
we
And-
can rename them.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
rename us. Magic trick. Your name's now.
Now
Nice.
you're something else.
And in these times, nobody cares who you voted for, who you think you like. Only thing you got to remember is this: tomorrow morning when you wake up, can you afford the stuff on your table? Can your kids go to school and be safe? I don't care who you are. Those are primary interests of mine. And if you got a family, those should be primary interests of yours too. Bottom
Yep.
line. The rest of it is hooey.
Yep.
And that's how I look at it. Be good to those around you and have those be around you good to you. Be part of the community. Be an asset, not a detriment. Do well. Do good. We got enough people out there doing bad and thinking bad thoughts and doing evil things to people just for the fun of it. Let's cut that out. Let's grow up.
Let's
Right.
play.
Yeah.
I've never had any problems when we just play.
I know. Let's
Exactly.
play. I love that.
play. I play all the time. That is my
Yeah,
life.
see, that's why I like
play
you a
for a
lot.
living. That's it.
There
I
you
do the
go.
same thing. That's my life. Everything I do, I do magic. This is like life is play to me, man. You've got, I mean, there's hard things, but it's worth it when it's for a purpose.
Exactly.
None of
that's
us get out alive, so don't take it so seriously.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I'm
Well,
pretty
and
sure the fountain of youth is laughter. So
There you go.
yes,
wrong.
it is.
Prove me wrong.
Well, you can drink. How do you drink laughter? Nothing. You put it in a bottle. No.
Well, if you can, we need to bottle it and we need to get more of it. And that's what
Yeah, we'll be
Seven
rich.
Seattle. Yeah, that's what Seven Seattle's about. Come to our show and think about the good times. Let us help you with our podcast, take your mind off stuff for a little bit. And when we come to our shows, let us help you entertain you for a while. Then you can go back out and face the world. But let us be your repast for a little bit. Let us give you a breather. Let us remind you that this it's not just showing teeth. It's called a smile. And we need to see a lot more people doing it, folks. A lot
right.
more people
A
doing
lot.
it. A lot. And with that note, folks, we're getting ready to do what we always do towards the end of our show. We do that country courtesy because we do believe in being courteous to folk. So we're getting ready to say what we always do. We start waving at you and making signs and saying, howdy, body, and all that good stuff. So I want to go ahead and say it now. Country courtesy, and get ready to get out of here. Thanks, you guys, for hanging out with us on this podcast.
Oh,
We look
thanks for
forward to
having me,
seeing you
man.
again.
This
Yeah.
is a good time.
Yeah,
And
thank
we'll
you for
see
being
you
here,
the next
Justin.
time, too. Exactly. We'll see you on podcast number what?
5.
Six?
There you go. All right.
Oh, I
folks.
thought this was
6.
five.
There
It's
you
5.
go.
5. And there's the joke, guys.
And there's
But,
the joke. Okay. So, okay,
Bye.
guys.
Right.
Bye.
I'm
Bye.
out.
We're
I'm
out.
out.
Yep.